For the last couple of weeks. It's kind of felt like we're in this really weird place in Fortnite where the game is actually really good. Like this season right now is very good.
Wait, what skin is this?
But one of my favorites. Should we be concerned about the state of Fortnite right now or about where Fortnite is going? If you guys don't know, community sentiment around the game has been pretty low over the last couple of weeks. It's kind of felt like we're in this really weird place in Fortnite where the game is actually really good. Like this season right now is very good. One of my favorites in Chapter 6, definitely by far. And I'm going to continue to sing the praises of Chapter 6 Season 3 until the end of this
Wait, he
chapter.
said who?
I'm going to continue to sing the praises of Chapter 6 Season 3 until the end of this chapter. Until the end of Fortnite, probably, because I think it's going to go down as a pretty underrated season overall. I've been having a lot of fun, but for some reason, the game just doesn't, it just feels really, really weird. And I just want to put this out there.
Yep,
If there's any outline for this
definitely
video,
do.
I have no idea exactly where this video is going to go. So earlier today on my community tab, I asked people, how do you feel about the state of Fortnite right now? Comments may be used in a video today. And I asked this question because in this video, I knew I wanted to talk about this. I have no idea what direction I'm going to take. But I'm not exactly sure what the stance that I have with this. You know, a lot of times on this channel, you guys will see I have very, in place, concrete opinions, and I'm able to explain them really well. But when it comes down to where the game is right now, I actually have no idea how I feel about it. You know, on one hand, I want to say that this happens all the time, and on another, the situation is really weird because community sentiment is down, views across platforms are down, but the numbers are still there. And now on the surface, that may look obvious. It may be like, oh, well, you know, that's people aren't as interested in Fortnite content, but I really am not sure if that's 100% what it is because, and like I've said in previous videos, it's cyclical. You know, views go up and they go down all the time. Even if you compare, how they were, a few months ago, they're obviously going to be higher than they were. I honestly feel like the Galactic Battle season has a lot to do with this. I think a lot of people, forgot about Fortnite for a month, and that probably wasn't the best thing to do for the game, in my opinion, especially with how bland it was overall and a lot of the stuff being recycled. But in the comments of that community post I talked about earlier, there were some interesting comments that I definitely want to include in this video, so let's take a look at a few of them. Someone said in response to how they feel about the state of Fortnite right now, they said, soulless is the best word I can use to describe this season and by extension, the chapter, which is pretty crazy. Not sure about that. Everything we had, we have seen before with several seasons, including the current one reusing season themes. Personally, I feel like the first season of Chapter 6 was very good. I thought that was a great season. I didn't really feel like that was a reusing of a theme, but we've definitely seen, the kind of season 2 theme before. We've definitely seen Star Wars stuff before, and this is kind of a superhero season, but it really doesn't have the same vibe as the other ones, but I get what he means. He says, Epic barely tries new things and plays everything safe. If the game doesn't try something new or innovative that actually helps the game and doesn't just exist to give people something to talk about, the game will die within.
Yep. I feel like that comment totally right, though. Like, that comment is totally right. Soulless is the best word I can use to describe this season, by extension, chapter. Everything we had seen before, several seasons, including the current one, using themes. Epic barely tries new things and plays everything safe. If the game doesn't try something new or innovate, that actually helps the game and doesn't just to exist to give people something to talk about, the game will die in the next chapter, within the next chapter. So that was the comment of step for yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but that was the comment of this dude. This one person on this video about Pro Zero. I feel like Fortnite will probably die in the next chapter. It's like, the game do be feeling boring at times. Like, I just hop off and then play one game and then I'll hop off. But at the same time, I'll still play other game modes. Especially Rocket Racing. Rocket Racing do be boring at some times. But I'll still be a sweating that though.
the next chapter. Kind of a hot take there, not really sure if I feel the game will die within the next chapter. And I think this is something really interesting, and this is why I wanted to read the comment right here. In parentheses, like I just said, he said that it actually helps the game. It doesn't just exist to give something to talk about, just to give people something to talk about. That is really important, and I think that's something that we don't talk about enough. It seems like Fortnite will sometimes do things just for the sake of doing it, just because they know either it's going to have controversy, people are going to make things.
Mostly, Fortnite feels boring to me because I don't got nobody to play with. I don't play with randoms because, well, I just don't play with randoms.
Videos on it, people are going to talk about it, they're going to get upset, they're going to get angry, and honestly, I feel like Fortnite is kind of a rage baiter.
People that I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, some things that there's really no rhyme or reason to why they're doing it. You know, like with the skin rarities, with, you know, them removing the jam tracks from all of them being in the shop at once, even though it barely helps to, you know, mitigate how cluttered the item shop is. Changes like that really feel like, you know, Fortnite's just kind of like stirring the pot. You know what I mean? Where they do things and then nothing comes of it. Just like with, you know, this something is wrong stuff in OG, or, you know, like the red rift that's gonna come at the end of the rocket event. If nothing happens with those, that will be the best example of Fortnite just doing stuff just to get people talking and theorizing, and at some point people are going to get tired of them only adding stuff like that doesn't affect the gameplay whatsoever, but just makes the experience a little bit worse, or just like makes you just that bit mad to where it strikes controversy and there's more people talking about the game. I think that was a fantastic point there from him. Another person said, I think they've really stopped focusing on what made Fortnite Fortnite, and I also agree with that to an extent, but I'll talk about that in a second. It's really hard to enjoy the game in the state Battle Royale and Reload is in because it feels like they've been slacking with the updates recently. The reason, and this is the part where I want to say this happens every single year, because around this time they brought out a new season, which was really, really exciting, great season, it was so much fun, and then they almost immediately went on their summer break where there is very, very little content, you know, outside of Blitz, outside of the new Reload map, and then after that they went on their break. Whoa. And there was just about nothing, you know. Also, I think there is something to be said for, you know, when it's summertime and more people are inside playing games. I think that's something to definitely consider. I mean, there's a reason why November and December and things like that, why the money is highest on YouTube then, why there's more views then, is because it's cold outside, no one wants to go outside, and really the most fun thing to do is play video games, you know what I mean? So I know a lot of people are saying, oh, but people are home for the summer, you know, people are not in school, you know, they're not doing anything. I don't think that's really fair to say, because that doesn't mean they're just going to sit inside playing games. Where during winter, when they're out of school and they're inside, that makes a lot more sense.
Now, that actually do make more sense. Actually, that definitely do make more sense, bruh. Because, like, during the winter, literally, during the winter, unless you're in a state where, like, it's not cold every day, like, during the winter, niggas be inside, bruh. Like, during the winter, people be inside. People do not want to go outside unless they go into work or the gym and the grocery store most of the time. Like, especially for kids, kids do not go outside when it's winter, because it's definitely cold, especially cold. Now, adults, on the other hand, and I would say teenagers that's probably working and probably going to workouts, I would definitely say, yeah, that there too. But yeah.
Which leads to more issues. But continuing on there, he said, I remember we used to get huge mid-season updates and weekly map changes, but it feels like they just don't care anymore. And it's hard to say that, but hopefully they have something good planned in the future. And this is something, too, I can always hold out hope that Fortnite has something really cool planned out in the future, because they plan...
It's because the one dude who retired in office, well, not in like U.S. office, I'm talking about in Epic Games Fortnite office. Like, Donald Mustard. I think that's because when he retired, well, when he was like doing stuff for Fortnite, I mean, that was we had it good with him. I don't know about what's happening, you know. Ooh, Corvette. But yeah, like, I don't know what's happening now.
Stuff so far in advance, and sometimes they're a bit secretive with it. Sometimes I think they release it on purpose just to keep people people excited. Wouldn't be surprised if we got a gigantic leak or some gigantic news in the next couple of weeks, because they can obviously tell that people aren't very interested online. And when people aren't interested online, that is going to kind of indirectly affect the game numbers and things like that, especially if you're get into topics like YouTube and stuff. That definitely does affect the game, and that's something Fortnite is paying attention to. I hate when people say that they just don't care anymore, because I think that Fortnite cares. I think Epic Games definitely cares about this game. I mean, it's made them billions and billions of dollars. In general, I think they do still care about Fortnite. Like, they do still care about the game. If they didn't care, they wouldn't have all this stuff. They wouldn't have added Blitz. They wouldn't be doing all these collabs.
Yeah, I definitely do care about Fortnite.
Have enough money. Like, I'm sure they take a loss every time they do a specific collab, you know what I mean? Just to have it in the game for the players. I do feel like Epic Games cares, and maybe I'm just catering to a multi-billion-dollar company. If you guys want to say that in the comments, whatever. But I don't really think that that's fair to say that they don't care, and I always try to make sure that I stray away from that. But going back to what he said at the beginning, I think they really stopped focusing on what made Fortnite Fortnite, and I 100% agree. I think the metaverse stuff, they need to step back from that a little bit. I would say stop promoting it as much. I would say let people do what they want. I'm tired of Fortnite releasing new modes and then me getting really excited for it, and then all of a sudden it doesn't get updates, or it just really bad, it's buggy, just like with Ballistic, man. Ballistic I'm so excited for because I loved Valorant back in the day, and now Ballistic has shell maps where the actual stuff, like the graphics and stuff, is just like a mesh map. No one wants to play that, dude. Like, let's be for real. Like, why are we having to play test your game and tell you what we want in it? I think that's a bit ridiculous, and I think Fortnite knows better. They've kind of abandoned that. Along with the Lego stuff, man, it just doesn't fit in the game. And to be totally fair, to be honest with you, if they made a Lego battle, Lego I would pick it up, because Fortnite, at its core, is always going to be the battle royale, the shooter game, in my eyes. And I'm not going to go back.
Hey, crypto.
That inside Fortnite. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not. It feels really weird. Someone else said, very fun yet lacking. I don't quite know how to describe it, really. And that's exactly how I feel.
What?
There's something there. There's something wrong. There's something that's in the back of my mind that I just cannot pinpoint, and I'm not used to that. I'm very used to being able to communicate my ideas pretty clearly to you guys, and that's why I'm going ahead and reading comments from other people here. A lot of people are saying that they're running out of ideas, and to an extent, I think I do agree with you. I think Fortnite is just a little bit, stuck. I think they're trying to play it safe, and that's what I was saying before in one of my other videos that
Is
a lot
this
of people clowned
real?
on me for. In one of my videos, I said Fortnite
Oh, this
doesn't take
OG.
risks anymore. And I talked about that, and they were like, oh, well, that's because of Wrecked, and everyone complained about it. It's like, well, I didn't complain about Wrecked. I actually loved Wrecked. And they don't take risks
Right?
anymore because they know that if they do, and I think Galactic Battle probably was a little bit of a risk. I think they know that probably wasn't going to be super popular, and, they took a risk, and it just didn't work very well, you know what I mean? But Fortnite is just doing things that they feel have the highest odds of being very successful, and people liking it, having the least amount of complaints. I think that's what they're doing right now. Of course, I'm not at Epic Games HQ. I have no idea exactly what they're doing. From
Mikey.
the outside looking in, someone who makes videos on this
What are
game
you
every
doing in
single day and
Chapter
has done
6?
so for almost a year. That is what I am thinking Fortnite's, I guess, headspace is right now. Overall, you guys, I feel really weird about the game. I still love the game. I'm going to continue to make daily content on it. Of course, I love this game. If anything, I just love making videos, so even if the videos are, really not that good or anything, I'm still going to make them because I love making YouTube videos for you guys, so nothing to worry about on that front. But how do you feel about the content overall? Do you guys feel like, as viewers, as people who consume Fortnite content, however often you do, how do you feel about it? Is there anything that I specifically can do to make you more interested in Fortnite? Please do let me know down below in the comments. Join the conversation. Let me know how you feel. Drop a like on today's video if you did enjoy. I make videos like these every single day. Subscribe to the channel. Use code PRO0YT in the Fortnite item shop to help support me further, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.
Oh, he's still following me. Oh! I should have went under the bridge. Oh. Gosh.
Guys, I'm getting a little bit worried about this Fortnite X Disney mode, or Disney Universe, whatever you want to call it, that is supposedly going
They like literally announced that shit last year and still didn't do nothing. Literally. Like, what's going on, man? Y'all did
To be coming to
D23.
Fortnite probably around next year. It's been over a year since we've actually had the initial announcement. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the background right here is the trailer for it that came out around early February of 2024. Basically, the gist of it is Disney invested like $1.5 billion into Epic Games. Disney content was supposed to be watchable in this mode inside of Fortnite. People will be able to create their own experiences with Disney IP stuff, and the Avatar collaboration at this point was confirmed as well, which that has already came out. Now, apparently, exactly 1 year after the release or the announcement of the Disney collab, Fortnite moved the brand, or I guess the mode, into a stable build, which means that they are making headway on it overall. We've also had a lot of other Disney stuff that's been leaked, like Monsters Inc. and / a University collab was leaked, which will probably be connected to that. Most of the stuff that really doesn't make sense to be put in Fortnite as a skin that involves Disney is probably going to be a part of this mode. But one of the biggest things with this was that inside of this mode, you'll be able to buy digital and physical goods. You'll be able to create Disney X Fortnite games, and it's supposedly going to be an entire entertainment universe in parallel with Fortnite and Disney. You're going to be able to do things in real life that will affect how you play the game inside of Fortnite, which is very, very interesting. And just recently, which was sparked this video and this conversation with me, is that it came out that Disney X Fortnite mode, this mode that you're seeing here, is supposedly going to have a storyline and cinematics. Now, guys, based on the title of this video, you would probably think that I don't like collabs or that I don't like the metaverse stuff, which that is not the case whatsoever. I absolutely love that stuff, and I think it's really cool what they're doing with it. Obviously, right now, the metaverse is not in a good place because Fortnite keeps making these modes and then, like, virtually abandoning them, not putting enough effort in them, and the very little effort they do put into them, a lot of people say could be put into, Battle Royale or fixing OG, and the modes that people actually care about. But recently, I've had kind of a change of thought about the
Ow.
metaverse. Like, I really do like the concept of people being able to make whatever they want. You know what I mean? Just like kind of how Roblox is, just Roblox without, it being all blocky and stuff. Being a little bit more, like, diverse, I guess, a little bit cooler, I think it would be inside of Fortnite than what it would be in Roblox if we saw something like that. I think that stuff would be really cool, and I'm very much down for Fortnite players to be able to make whatever they want. But because Fortnite has constantly done stuff like this, where they hype up these different modes, we've had Lego, we've had Festival, Rocket Racing especially, all of that stuff was hyped at the very beginning. Rocket Racing has been completely abandoned at this point, and Lego is not not as much updated as it should be because it was very, very popular when it first came out. I will stand by it to this day. If Fortnite would have paid more attention to that from the beginning, it would be a very, very popular game right now. Overall, I feel like I don't like
I'm gonna
Fortnite
spam
creating
this man.
modes like this because time and time again, Fortnite has done this where they release these new modes and they just kind of abandon them. It's really, really hype. It's very, very exciting, and then nothing happens with it. Of course, this is something that's kind of backed by Disney. Disney has a lot of money in this. $1.5 billion is going into this mode and into Fortnite overall, which is why we see all of these different like collaborations with them. They're willing to put more stuff in the item shop. We're probably going to have just about every Disney character you can think of eventually is going to be in Fortnite one way or another. And yes, that is very exciting, but I had a bit of a revelation, especially after the video I made yesterday. A revelation, I know in the Fortnite sense sounds really goofy, but you know what I mean. I'm really tired of Fortnite trying to act like it's not a shooter game. Like it's not a Battle Royale PvP game. And this is in light of conversations about bots. My What's Wrong with Fortnite Right Now video came out yesterday. You guys loved that. Thanks for the support. And in that video, I talked a little bit about how Fortnite is kind of stemming away from what made Fortnite Fortnite and why people actually log on to play the game. Like, I'm sorry, but I do not, maybe I'm just not the target audience anymore, and that could definitely be the case. Fortnite has definitely moved on from everybody who started when I started. But when I think of Fortnite, I don't think of Fortnite as like an adventure game or, like a building game, like in the sense of like, like a Minecraft sort of like Lego game. I think of it as a shooter game. And I honestly was holding out hope that this Disney mode would be you just like playing, like fighting as characters from Disney. But that's the thing, a lot of the times Disney doesn't want their characters to hold guns. Like, you're not going to see, Mickey holding a gun. You're not going to see him holding a star. You're not going to see Wreck-It Ralph, double pumping or anything like that. And that's just not the case. And that's something that that's something I'm really, really worried about. Not even just because it might be bad, but just because Fortnite might put all of this effort into this one thing, billions of dollars into this one thing, and they don't give people what they actually want to see. It falls flat on the ground, and then all of this time where they've been working on it and have this designated team for it and everything, and they're working on integrating rewards that you can get in the park, could have been working on, figuring out what to do with bots. Making these other modes that are actually about fighting a little bit better. Still trying to, advance against the battle royale genre like they have with Blitz and Reload. Just focusing more on things that actually matter, fixing OG and making it more accurate like people want it to be. Those are the things that I think Fortnite is kind of putting on the back burner when they should be front and center. I've never understood why Fortnite, I understand they constantly want to evolve and they want to be pushing things forward, but it feels like especially recently they constantly are more focused on pushing things forward and enhancing and nurturing the players and the game modes that people are actually playing. And that's what I think is really frustrating and one of the reasons why a lot of people just don't have much interest. Like I
Hold
said,
on, let me go into a
there's a
party,
lot of
bro.
out much of like a follow through. You know what I mean? There's not much reason to get excited because when the mode comes out, it's just like, oh well, it's gonna launch. There's gonna be so much fun people playing it, and then after that, there's really not gonna be that much attention given to it. But here's the thing: the one outlier for that, I feel like,
Tommy working. So I'm trying to get the Corvette, bruh. And apparently I need to play in a creative map with my buddies. With friends, as they say. Hold on. Here we go. Earn XP and buy epic experience and party with friends. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm trying to think. If this is in a party epic experience, that means play an epic game mode, right? That gotta mean playing an epic game mode. Oh, sons of. Hmm, I ain't even gonna say that. How does watching a movie make you closer to someone? Just so I could be closer to Haley. Like, nigga, what? I mean, I watch Isabella Merced movies because I like Isabella Merced. That doesn't mean I'm closer with her. Like the hell? Getting close with a person is getting to know a person, spending time with a person. Not watching a movies and then, ah, I feel close to this person because I watched their movies. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Let me see if this working right now. Let's see if this working right now. I'm not gonna fake. I'll be playing with my Nintendo Switch account. With my other account on my Nintendo Switch, because it give me about, bruh. I don't care about none of that, pro. But you're supposed to face the Switch. I don't give one rat's behind about none of that, bruh. It's like the sweats, bro, is where I cross the line. Because you got too many people swinging behind you. Most of them don't even be touching grass. I'm sorry. Or should I say it in a friendly way? New beginners. New beginners. This feel like deja vu. I'm playing chapter. No, yeah, this chapter 6, season 4. Meet season 3. I'm playing chapter 6, season 3, and then like a whole new vehicle comes out a whole year later. Sounds familiar. Oh, I forgot this is good. Alright, we winning now. We winning now. Damn, imagine being 17 and playing Fortnite. No, imagine being 15 and playing Fortnite. Actually, imagine being 13 years old playing Fortnite. Oh, wait, damn. I know somebody that was 13 years old and played Fortnite. Maybe. Oh, shit. Niggas. Oh wait, I've been in this house a million times. Yeah, this is definitely my Nintendo Switch. Now that's sweat right there. That's the sweat right there, bruh. Actually, that might be his own. Mr. Johnny Walker Black. Oh, man. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, my back. Ooh, boy. I'm getting old. What? I quit. Oh, this was definitely go hard with black and gray. Well, black in general. Bad news, it's the only rap that has and this shit comes from the most simplest things to do. I gotta play another game with my other account. And it's like on my other account, I did most of the challenges. I just need to do the same thing what I had to do on here. So probably leave the party, invite myself, and then play duos. Easy peasy, cool beans.
To put their kids through the same education hellhole they went through. An 8-hour entrance exam? Real question. See, I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do 8-hour entrance exam. 8 hours.
Guys, I'm getting a little bit worried about this Fortnite X Disney mode or Disney Universe, whatever you want to call it, that is supposedly going to be coming to Fortnite probably around next year. It's been over a year since we've actually had the initial announcement. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the background right here is the trailer for it that came out around early February of 2024. Basically, the gist of it is Disney invested like $1.5 billion into Epic Games. Disney content was supposed to be watchable in this mode inside of Fortnite.
I need two more videos to watch. Okay, I got probably one of them.
Love is the #1 battle destroying event today. The amount of my community members and people in my comment section talking about how much they struggle with lust is honestly pretty insane. Have you ever heard of three-step elder confessions? 90% of men struggle with lust as a problem. And it's not surprising because it's everywhere. Honestly, it's very prevalent in our gyms, but the obvious accessibility for these are our phones. Many describe their phone as the gateway to hell. This is the hell we're designed for constant temptation, instant gratification, and I'll break it to you. Lust is a difficult challenge in a lifelong battle, but you can beat it. You can win. On the other side of lust is peace, love, and most importantly, your purpose and the best version of yourself. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how I conquered lust and how you can too. Because trust me, if I can do it, other high testosterone, aesthetic, super muscular individual, then you can too. I want to start this segment by motivating you to conquer your lust. Because a lot of people think that lust, which is a sin by the way, is just a rule from God, preventing you from releasing yourself. But there's a reason why lust is a sin. All of the 7 deadly sins weren't made for God to control us, but rather to protect us. And this page of the benefits of conquering your lust or controlling your sexual urge should motivate you for life. I talked about this in my NoFap video, where I talked about how NoFap has benefits, but not those James Bond Superman benefits like these fake benefits we talked about. This page was the real benefits of NoFap. So NoFap is my personality, and here are the main benefits it states in the book. It gives quality to the tone of voice that enables one to convey any feeling desire. It serves as nothing else can serve to give motive power to one's desires. It keeps the nervous system charged with the energy needed to carry on the work of maintaining the body. It sharpens the imagination, enables one to create useful ideas. It gives quickness and definiteness to one's physical and mental movements. It gives one persistence and perseverance in the pursuit of one's major purpose in life. It is the great antidote for all fear. It gives one a
Oh, you right there.
discouragement. It helps to master laziness and procrastination. It gives one physical and mental endurance while undergoing any form of opposition or defeat. It gives one the fighting qualities necessary under all circumstances for self-defense. In brief, it makes winners, not quitters. This case Outwitting the Devil, written by Napoleon Hill, is most known for writing Think and Grow Rich, which is considered to be the #1 success book of all time. And in Think and Grow Rich, he stated, the desire for sex is the most powerful human desire. When driven by this desire, people develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. Basically, it makes you the best version of yourself, the genius version of yourself. Now think about it. If you ever felt that your sexual desire is overwhelming, and you naturally have a high sex drive, many people will say this is in Thinking for Rich, he talks about how these people are actually blessed because the desire for sex is so pure, so often turned to sexual gratification, using that energy for something better. So you're able to conquer your lust, don't you have access to your gifts? Because the devil, your enemy, whose main goal is to keep on your website, helps you keep you addicted to them. You can never access your gifts. I've talked about this many times in other videos. When you sin, you're separated from God. This is what giving into lust does. And every time you choose lust, every time you choose that short-term pleasure, you tell God, God, I want this temporary high rather than your presence. And that's a trade-off for always regret. Because God is everything. And it's talking about the main reason why you should give into lust. But it also makes you a very bad person.
Well, pornography teaches people to use others. It teaches us to use people as objects. And Jesus Christ said, no, people are not objects to get pleasure from. Instead, people are human beings, mind, emotion, a will, and another person. Take a lifelong commitment to one person, the opposite sex, and it enjoys sex in the context of a lifelong commitment. That's biblical marriage.
Lust trains you to objectify people and use people. There's research showing that people who give in to lust are actually mostly sociopathic.
Men prefer short dating opportunities, are psychopathic, narcissistic, passionate, and sadistic. One of the unintended consequences of the sexual revolution is that freed up women continue to be psychopathic. And terrifying things that you notice, guys that are just out for a good time, they're not much fun. They're a monstrous thing, and the worst of them are so much worse than you think that if you ever go to look inside their mind, you would never recover. And I'm not saying that lightly. It's not pleasant.
If anyone ever tells you that everything in moderation is key, in this particular circumstance, they're 100% wrong. You can't casually master lust. You either master it or it masters you. And if you don't think that fapping or even hooking up with random people, which keep in mind you have no business hooking up with, is affecting you, you're already and before we teach exactly how to conquer lust, you must know exactly what lust is. And if this one's pretty easy to call out, just fapping and looking at pixels of beautiful women, it's private, it's quick, and it's easily available. And almost every time it's small on my shape. If you know that everything that fapping is, here's what you fap, you know you're losing. But the reason this one's so hard to stop is because it's always there and it's always available. And honestly, because it's so lust, which actually might be more destructive, is hooking up with random girls and chasing girls. This was for a long time I thought was a solution. I thought it made me a man, I thought it made me good enough, which I've talked about in other videos and we'll talk about more in depth in future videos, but this was an internal insecurity problem I had. After I built a pretty good physique, and I was just sort of going out in the morning and talking to girls and chasing girls, and people had to turn around and make a girl, or I brought her back home or whatever. I was winning. That right there, lust is never a win. I wasn't hiding anymore with the shy, insecure kid I used to be. I was being a man. I was building confidence. And I could tell my other insecure friends that I hooked up with Ashley or whatever. But that's just my ego talking. And a lot of guys let their ego control their lives. But your ego is a bandit and a gunshot. It doesn't heal the wound, but it covers it up. And eventually, when your ego takes a big shot, it exposes that wound. And you get empty, soulless, lonely, painful period of your life.
Alright, let me fucking drive, man.
Hitting on that same desire that fapping does, but it's just hidden in progress and masculinity. And if I'm being real, society really preaches this balance. We're taught to lead with ego, disguised as we've got a lot of women, you're a man, and you're power. We all know the devil's either running society. Because 50 years ago, men's masculinity wasn't measured by how many women they could pull, and it isn't like now where lust is considered dominance. Because back then, if you were doing this, you were considered broken, which is honestly the truth. Lust doesn't care how you package it. It could be fapping, it could be chasing and hooking up with girls, but regardless, it keeps you addicted, distracted, and far from God. And I want to really dial this point in because I wish someone told me that a few years ago. And now that you know exactly what lust is, I can go over how I accomplished it and how others accomplished it who I know. And I'll tell you, I don't have an amazing willpower, and I'm not a hard worker, and I was able to conquer lust. And one big reason I was able to is because I had a bigger goal and purpose. When I talk about what men are designed to do, what men live for, I wouldn't even necessarily say it's happiness or peace. I would claim that every man lives to improve, which is why we love video games so much. And once you give yourself something to build, which for me was my YouTube channel, it highlighted lust for what it really is. Because lust isn't a desire, it's a distraction. And a purpose helps you see it that way. And honestly, most guys give in to lust, not because they're weak, but they're bored and they have nothing to do. They have no meaning or desires. And purpose, for the most part, will kill boredom because you will always have something you're doing. So drop a like right now if you want me to release a video on finding your purpose and getting motivated. Trust me, I have some good techniques for this, so drop a like right now if you haven't already. The second way I conquered lust was I stayed busy intentionally. You want to keep your days busy, and it can be very simple. It doesn't have to be building a YouTube channel. It could be getting an hour workout done, going on a walk, reading a book. And by the way, I've been able to read consistently, so anybody can, right? Don't say you can't read or you don't like reading. That's BS. A lot of the times the enemy can attack you with lust and temptation when you're idle, when you're not doing anything. So you want to cut out meaningless time as much as you can. And the number one way I was able to conquer lust was I realized its cost, particularly with my relationship with God. I already talked about this a bit in the beginning of the video, and a lot in my no-fap video. And in my no-fap video, I talked about how I've been giving in to lust or temptation for over 5 months. So when I gave my life to God, this was the turning point for me. And honestly, I wouldn't say I have to force myself to prevent this temptation. It's just who I am now. A guy who hates steroids and hates lust. But being 100% for real, when you sin, it hurts God. I couldn't have hurt God. He's done so much for me. And he loved me with all his heart. And something so cheap as loading up adult content, letting one loose real quick, and letting the creator of the universe be upset with me, that wasn't worth it. And honestly, it's pretty stupid. And honestly, now I can say when I resist lust, I'm making the creator of the universe proud. And if you go into God's word, you look to obey God, he will bless you. And no temptation of lust ever compete with that. So I know that you can do that, which is to pray, surrender your life to God, repent or ask for forgiveness for giving into lust in your past, asking for help to conquer that, and honestly, you'll probably make a lot of progress very quick. God just waiting for you to invite him to help you with this battle. Because where do you think your strength comes from? It's not this massive bicep, it comes from the love of our Heavenly Father. So those are my gifts, but I claim I wasn't necessarily addicted to lust, but I know a lot of men were, and these are some tips they did to get over it. First is confession. confession. And confession is super powerful because it transmits your shame, your guilt, your mistakes into freedom and peace. And obviously, I know many people watching my videos aren't Catholic, so I'm going to give some more secular advice. And the number one is to flee. There's a Bible verse that says if one eye causes you to sin, to tear it out and throw it away. Like it's better to get rid of it rather than sin. And if you're addicted to adult content and lust, you need to run from it. Even if it means replacing your iPhone with a flip phone, not bringing your phone into your bedroom, deleting social media apps, that's what you have to do. The best way I did it, which again I wasn't super addicted to lust, was to control my Instagram feed. When you click on certain posts on Instagram, you will get recommended more. If you keep clicking on Instagram models, they will keep showing up in your Explore page. And once I stopped clicking on the Instagram models on my Explore page, they just went away, and Instagram stopped recommending those posts to me, knowing I wouldn't interact with them. And even if you get a lot of them, you can click on Instagram to not recommend any more content like this, and boom, you're safe. So obviously, you know your problem more than me, and I'll tell you most people's problem is the phone, but it could be narcotics or alcohol. Whatever's causing you to go into lust, you need to flee and get rid of it. It's the most brutal, but I promise you the most effective thing you can do to win your battle with lust. And I really want to dial this in because people in my community and people I coach who struggle with lust always say things like this. They think when they mess up once, everything they did is ruined, they're the worst person in the world, and God wants nothing to do with them. When in reality, that's far from the truth. When God sees you resist temptation, resist lust, and you resist your flesh to be obedient to Him, He sees that. And even if you mess up, God is a loving God, so God doesn't keep you while you're down. God's actually going to offer His hand to pick you back up. And He's proud of you for every time you resist that sinful urge. If you battle with it, you know that's how to win. And every time they respond to you, think again, I told you, you're going to do that for them. And think of that, you'll be done for them on your Father in heaven. So if you pray about something with three more people, and think that God will have it done for you. Which is why you should definitely consider my private meetings. There's no resistance, there's no
So I know we've all been obsessed with this game ever since Fernando was the first official copy before anyone else does it. Some fans have all had a hard time waiting and waiting and waiting. Right. But as the trailer 2 dropped, it felt like it was finally free again. The heavy burden of not knowing how far along 6 years was finally lifted from our shoulders. And I know that we did get 9 frames from trailer 1 in 2023, trailer 2 in 2025, nothing to the second 7 friends ever managed to experience. Now again, 3 months after the release of trailer 2, I feel it coming back again. In today's video, we'll dive into the twisted world of Rockstar Games, lives, and how certain days that correlate to and contracts alongside one. So buckle up, as today we will try to figure out how all of these things fit together, like we're on a third rate conspiracy theory podcast. Before getting into the topic of this video, please make sure to hit that like button and help a brother out in the schizo algorithm. Thank you and enjoy the video. Now, let's immediately get something straight. Rockstar, in this particular marketing cycle, has been absolutely killing. Their initial plan was to release trailer 1 on December 5th, which just so coincides with the same date that the first mission ended in America. And yes, Bonnie and Clyde weren't exactly known for bootlegging, but some evidence does suggest they were involved with it in some way. Now, you might ask yourself what exactly any of this has to do with trailer 3. Well, ever since the original release, we've known this game was inspired by the Victoria's couple. I mean, trailer 1 and the artwork that accompanied it only further proved that by giving us an image which clearly was inspired by the film itself, with Jason Garcia leaning on the hood of his quote-unquote car. Now, if you want to get a better look at the picture of what Rockstar's planning to do, we have to compare this marketing push to GTA 5 and GTA 2. Now, I won't really bother explaining everything in depth here, as TGG already made a video about this particular topic a while back, and I'd rather not repeat the same things that he said, so I will summarize it quickly here for you. The usual Rockstar marketing cycle consists of 3 trailers, a gameplay video or 2, with a launch trailer accompanying the game at launch, obviously. Now, Rockstar usually reveals trailer 1 around 2 years before the game's planned release, which mixes in with the Vault 5 announcement aka delay. The same thing has been done for RDR 2 and GT5, the games being announced in 2011 and 2016, and being slated for 2012 and 2017. But of course, Rockstar ended up delaying them and pushed them all the way back to significantly end of the trailer 1, Rockstar didn't really give us the definitive date, and it was quite obvious the same exact thing would happen here. And a few months back, we finally got the information. But this time, it's very different as they actually came out with the release, which May 26. Now, if you're a casual fan or not someone who really pays that much attention to these things, this date probably means nothing. But if you're a fan of GTA, this date was everything. As an actor who played one of the most beloved protagonists in any GTA game, died on the same day. But this wasn't the only significant
Come on, bruh.
this day itself. This Bonnie and Clyde's funerals were held on the 26th of May, 1934, showing that this time around, Rockstar might be taking a different approach. So, with May 26th logged in as this weird poetic Rockstar group that we see then, what the hell can you expect from it?
What the fuck?
Well, my honest prediction, based on everything we've seen and being a Bonnie and Clyde, is a gold first. This thing is significant to Rockstar as the point on its perfect. And I know that some of you like birthday or cast or birthdays.
I got the car on my Nintendo Switch anyway, bruh.
One that obviously wants to pay homage to the duo that inspired their own practice.
Well, on my other account anyway. So I'm gonna leave him in dust. Screenshots or cheating reference to what target in some way. Now, I know people might get the because obviously we like the action part, really wants to go up the titles. But this time, I feel like things would be different with that. But seriously though, for all I know, they might just put this thing on 3 on October 1st and tell us to collectively go fuck ourselves. Well, giving us nothing more for better, for being or marching for for that one day that really caught my eye and it was about that Texas seems to hold racial elements as well. As it marked the official start of the nationwide marathon that Fortnite live. The big question is Shannon's and the 500 events out of the and on this day, Clivo and the Mexican manufacturing facility himself will help out. Yes, because he's on office, obviously, on the way. Then in January 16, talking at his development sent a bomb after 1 basically. Now, this thing could line up perfectly with this marketing cycle for something this 5 to 7 months of introduction. And honestly, before I know it's something first, and then just proceed to actually switch to 5 months. Now, the story that we've seen up till now, it's honestly quite clear that the lovers of the one aspect will be used as the basis for the story. In a way, mimicking RDR 2's story without the constant method of aggregate or touch. Meaning that these things now, another day that I truly feel like might be it is December 16th. And the main reason why we can live is because it's the birthday of the girl and that we had it on the set. Now, this would be a very nice way to wish happy birthday to the don't know how big homage to the midnight we had autographed from Auto as a series, especially in the voice acting job being one of the greatest actors. Now, I honestly will say that
And I gotta agree that as part of this, the Rockstar capitalized both of the and you know, themselves, but it could also land right in the middle of holiday chaos, with people preparing for Christmas and New Year's Eve. And what a better way to spend your holidays than to overanalyze everything. Now, if all dates fail, the other two dates that I could still have been one after and March 24th. And Kevin for
Yeah, nigga, yeah.
maybe get your girlfriend or boyfriend to get the info. It also matches up really well with the game's overall themes of love, trust, and loyalty. My honest thoughts are that people not see anything.
What? Hold on.
Yes, my dad. Love, trust, and loyalty.
Loyalty.
My honest thoughts are that people not seeing anything around this particular time. As by that point, we will already have Trinity 3 either in December or January. But if not, then this date would be my last bet for Trinity 3. Yes, it's not really a Rockstar thing to do, especially while looking at how they did this one in cycles. But this time around, the story matches up perfectly for them to use as some kind of cheeky pumpkin stunt. Of course, this is all just me speculating, and I have no idea what these motherfuckers will do. As for all I know, they might just drop the trailer on next Sunday and have the entire internet melted down again. But if things go according to plan and according to my predictions, and we get treated in December or January, the March 24th, which is Clyde and Barrow's birthday, might be the day of the trailer. At least they could take into consideration when they release Trailer 3 and the gameplay video for Audio 2, as this would perfectly match the 5 months from Trailer 3 to release that they did for Audio 2. Anyways, what do you guys think of these dates I've mentioned here?
Oh,
Really
God.
Trailer 3 this year, or will they delay the game again? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and a big thank you to our returning and first official member of the channel, a big thank you as well goes out to all the 1,310 people that ended up subscribing. You folks are the best. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button and of course subscribe for a chance to win an RTX 790 card. Keep matching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. This video was brought to you by Loyalty. What video? I made this retrospective video on all of Disney.
Damn. Bitch.
In that video, I said this. It's not a full story here, but and I also said this. My least favorite Pixar film is Incredibles 2, which was just a cash grab copy of the first movie with the two main roles. So today, I'm going to elaborate on that. We're going to do something very different for the channel with this video.
Oh, that's his teammate. That's his teammate. Get back here. I'm busy with. I mean. What?
Is their best.
I'm about to hop on TikTok, bruh. I'm about to hop on TikTok. I'll come back when I got all 50 of them playing. But right now, I need a 30-minute break. Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, man. Oh, it is hard. It is hard. It is hard. Women are not they using their bodies for us. Like, especially, yeah. Oh, what the fuck? Billy Madison. gives quality to the team, voice, and enables cooking things through the nigga. I mean, through the voice to any feeling desired. It serves as nothing else can serve to give motive, power.